Hello, everyone. Did you know that some of the most talented black stars have faced alcohol addiction in a way that ultimately impacted their lives and careers? From groundbreaking musician Bobby Womack to comedic genius Redd Foxx? Leave a comment with the number 1. And below are some black stars who drank themselves to death. Richard Pryor was not just a comedian, but also a trailblazer. With his sharp wit and raw humor, he tackled taboo topics like race, relationships, and personal flaws. His comedy undoubtedly revolutionized the entertainment industry, making Richard Pryor an unforgettable legend in the world of comedy. His fame came not only from stand-up performances, iconic films like Silver Streak, and brilliant storytelling, but also from making millions laugh and reflect on society. However, behind all the humor that made the world laugh was a life far from joyful. He battled addiction, primarily alcohol, for much of his life. Alcohol was not just a coping mechanism for Pryor, but was also tied to the painful experiences of his childhood, growing up in a brothel and witnessing much trauma. Pryor turned to alcohol and other substances to cope, and although he went through several stints of rehab and treatment, his health was severely affected. Struggling with alcohol and other health issues marked the later years of his life. Billie Holiday, known as Lady Day, had an incredibly unique voice. Her jazz and blues songs were not just tunes, but emotional stories. Tracks like Strange Fruit, a haunting ballad, showcased her ability to make pain beautiful, and God Bless the Child illustrated that talent, earning Billie her place among the greatest singers of all time and influencing many generations of artists. But behind the emotional voice and glamorous performance persona was a life filled with hardships. Holiday's early years were filled with poverty and abuse, and as she rose to fame, she faced brutal discrimination. Her career, combined with the wounds from her past, led her to turn to alcohol and other substances. Holiday's drinking gradually became a public part of her life. What started as a social habit turned into a way for her to cope with the immense pain she carried. Over time, her alcohol use took a toll on her health and career, and her body began to deteriorate. When she passed away at the age of 44, it was a life taken far too soon. When you think of Whitney Houston, you immediately think of an extraordinary voice, known as The Voice. She had the ability to hit high notes that gave listeners chills and brought them to tears. She was one of the greatest global artists, with hits like I Will Always Love You, Greatest Love of All, and I Want to Dance with Somebody. Her success wasn't just in music, but also in films like The Bodyguard and even modeling. However, as her fame grew, so did the pressures. Whitney's life wasn't always as glamorous as it appeared on the outside. She also faced personal battles, including addiction. While alcohol wasn't the primary factor in her struggles, it played a role in her tragic end. Whitney was found unresponsive in a bathtub at a hotel in February 2012. Subsequent reports revealed that alcohol was one of the substances found in her system. The world was shocked by the news, and people wondered how someone as talented and beloved as she was could end her life in such a way. You may not hear the name Donny Hathaway as frequently as some other artists, but for those who love soul music, he is a legend. Donny Hathaway had a deep, soulful voice, with songs like A Song for You, This Christmas, and duets with Roberta Flack such as Where Is the Love? His music carried a powerful emotional strength, touching the hearts of listeners. Despite his extraordinary talent, Donny Hathaway faced many challenges, particularly with mental health issues. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and had to deal with struggles that, at the time, few understood. Along with his battles with substance abuse, including alcohol, Donny struggled significantly. Alcohol became a way for him to cope with the pressures of life and the strain of his illness. Unfortunately, on January 13, 1979, Hathaway tragically passed away after falling from a hotel window. However, it was his depression and mental illness that were the main causes. His struggles with alcohol and addiction may have contributed to his untimely end. Donny Hathaway's passing shocked the music world. At just 33 years old, he left us too soon, leaving behind a timeless musical legacy that continues to touch the hearts of listeners to this day. Sammy Davis Jr. was a multi-talented artist, a singer, dancer, actor, and comedian who lit up every stage he stepped on. He was also an important member of the legendary Rat Pack, alongside Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, becoming one of the most famous entertainment stars in America during the 1950s and 1960s. His charm, talent, and ability to break racial barriers made him an icon. Songs like The Candyman and I've Got to Be Me showcased his exceptional singing talent, while his roles in films like Ocean's 11 cemented his status as a star. However, behind the glitz and glamour of the entertainment industry, Sammy Davis Jr. also faced many struggles, including racism, long working hours, and personal issues. To cope with the pressures of his work, Sammy became an alcoholic. Over time, his drinking severely impacted his health. He struggled to find balance in his life due to his busy lifestyle filled with constant performances and the demands of fame. While Sammy's battle with alcohol was not intense enough to overshadow his successful career, it still affected his health. He passed away from throat cancer in 1990, but his addiction and its role in his illness were part of his life story. Florence Ballard was a powerful voice in the studio and one of the original three members of the Supremes, the iconic Motown group of the 1960s, known for hits like Baby Love, Stop in the Name of Love, and Come See About Me, among many others. Her soulful voice and unique personality helped make the Supremes one of the most successful female groups of all time. However, behind those successes were personal and professional challenges that plagued Florence. As the Supremes grew in popularity, tensions within the group, particularly between Florence and Diana Ross, began to rise. Florence eventually left the group in 1967, marking the beginning of a downward spiral in her life. Without the support of the Supremes, Florence struggled with alcohol addiction during difficult financial times, trying to numb her struggles. This led to serious health issues due to excessive drinking, and she was unable to shine again in the spotlight. Sadly, Florence passed away in 1976 from a heart attack at the age of 32. Her battle with alcohol played a significant role in her untimely and tragic death. Marvin Gaye, a talent hailed as the Prince of Motown, undoubtedly brought magical music with classic songs like What's Going On, Let's Get It On, and Sexual Healing. His music not only spoke of love and romance, but also tackled political and spiritual themes, including war, poverty, and social justice. Marvin inspired deeply through his music, making him one of the most influential artists in music history. However, behind the soulful melodies were fierce personal battles. His life was marked by family conflicts, financial struggles, and a turbulent career. He turned to alcohol as a way to cope with the mounting pressures, while his music continued to achieve remarkable success. However, alcohol began to affect Marvin's personal life and career. His addiction took a toll on his mental health, and he increasingly struggled to maintain balance in his life. He also had difficulty maintaining a good relationship with his father, Marvin Gaye Sr., who tragically shot and killed him in 1984 after an argument. While the shooting incident was the direct cause of his death, his alcohol addiction played a significant role in the events that led to that fateful day. Marvin Gaye's legacy is undeniable. He was not only a musician but also a voice for change, a symbol of passion, and an artist who bared his heart through his music. Etta James was a towering star in the world of blues and soul, with a voice capable of both breaking hearts and healing them at the same time. Songs like At Last and I'd Rather Go Blind are timeless classics that showcase her ability to transform raw emotion into unforgettable music. Her influence on artists across generations, from Adele to Beyoncé, highlights her lasting impact on the music industry. However, Etta's life was not as glamorous as her music. She faced many struggles, including years of battling alcohol addiction. Alcohol became a coping mechanism that helped Etta deal with disappointments in both her professional and personal life. In this case, alcohol served as a way to numb the pain or bitterness from her issues, but of course it came at a cost. Her drinking worsened her health over time, leading to physical conditions like liver disease. Etta tried numerous times to overcome her addiction, but her struggle with it was relentless. These health problems also affected her career, leading to missed opportunities and personal issues. Etta passed away in 2012 after a long battle with leukemia, but her struggles with alcohol had already taken a toll on her body long before. Jimi Hendrix stands firm in music history, regularly appearing on lists of the greatest guitarists of all time. Hendrix revolutionized rock and roll with his powerful performances and diverse style. Songs like Purple Haze, All Along the Watchtower, and The Wind Cries. Mary propelled him to the peak of the music world. His guitar work was unparalleled, and his music continues to inspire artists across various genres, many decades after his untimely death. However, Jimi was not only famous for his music, but also for his wild lifestyle, which was sometimes brought to the public eye. The pressures of fame, constant touring, and the need to stand out from his peers led him to turn to alcohol and drugs. While much has been said about Hendrix's drug dependence, alcohol was also a significant issue in his life. Jimi Hendrix passed away on September 18, 1970, at the age of 27, with the cause believed to be asphyxiation from choking on his own vomit. But it's impossible to ignore the role that alcohol and drugs played in his life and death. His early death served as a stark warning to the music world about the dangers of addiction. David Ruffin was the soulful voice behind some of the Temptations' biggest hits. Songs like My Girl, Ain't Too Proud to Beg, and I Wish It Would Rain showcased his powerful and emotional vocals as the lead singer of one of Motown's iconic groups. David's voice became synonymous with songs of love and heartache, earning him fans worldwide. However, fame also brought immense pressure. The stress of his work, the pressure to succeed, and the expectations placed on him led him to struggle with alcohol and drug addiction throughout his life. These addiction issues created conflicts in his relationships, both with the star's environment and his health. David left the Temptations in 1968 to pursue a solo career, but his ongoing battle with addiction often overshadowed his talent. His struggle with alcohol made it difficult for him to achieve the same level of success he had with the group. On June 1, 1991, David Ruffin passed away at the age of 50. While his death was officially attributed to a drug overdose, his long-term issues with alcohol had a significant impact on his health and contributed to his early death. Johnny Taylor, known as the philosopher of soul, was an artist with an emotionally powerful voice, a major star in the soul, and blues genres with hits like Who's Making Love, Disco Lady, and Cheaper to Keep Her. He became one of the prominent stars of soul music, blending gospel roots with smooth soul. However, while his music celebrated love and life, Taylor's personal life was weighed down by his battle with alcohol addiction. The pressures of the music industry, combined with personal struggles, made consistent performance difficult, and alcohol became both a coping mechanism and a hindrance, affecting his relationships and health over time. Although Taylor had a long career and remained a beloved name in music even during the most difficult times, his charm and talent never faded. The battle with addiction, however, took a toll on his body. Johnny Taylor passed away from a heart attack in 2000 at the age of 66. While his death was not officially attributed to alcoholism, his long-term struggle with alcohol and addiction undoubtedly contributed to his passing. Craig Turner was the eldest son of legendary Tina Turner. His life was often overshadowed by his mother's extraordinary fame, leading to a relatively sheltered existence. While his mother, known as the Queen of Rock and Roll, was a star in the music industry with iconic songs like Proud Mary, What's Love Got to Do with It, and Simply the Best, her high-energy performances and resilience through hardships inspired millions. However, her son Craig struggled with pain and addiction, which ultimately took his life. Born in 1958 to Tina and Raymond Hill, who was also a saxophonist in the Kings of Rhythm Band, Craig witnessed firsthand the ups and downs of Tina's career and personal life, particularly her tumultuous marriage to Ike Turner. All of this profoundly impacted Craig, along with feelings of abandonment and emotional trauma from his childhood. As he grew older, Craig struggled with alcoholism, a battle that exacerbated his mental health issues. Despite efforts to find balance in his life, he couldn't cope with these challenges. On July 3, 2018, Craig took his own life at the age of 59. Although his death was not officially attributed to alcoholism, his struggle with alcohol and mental illness played a significant role in the pain he endured. Otis Redding, known as the King of Soul, touched listeners' hearts with his powerful voice in timeless songs like Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, Try a Little Tenderness, and These Arms of Mine. Otis was one of the pioneering icons of soul music, blending raw emotion with smooth melodies, making him one of the most influential artists of his time. Born in 1941 in Dawson, Georgia, Redding did not have an easy path to fame. He achieved great success through relentless effort, starting from small clubs and seeking out larger opportunities. These efforts paid off as he became a beloved name, known for his powerful performances that also had the ability to deeply connect with audiences. However, behind that success, Otis faced many personal issues, including alcohol addiction. While alcohol was not the most significant part of his life, it contributed to the challenges he encountered. Like many other artists, the difficulties of dealing with fame and the constant touring led him to turn to alcohol as a coping mechanism. Unfortunately, on December 10, 1967, Otis passed away in a plane crash at the age of 26. Although his death was not caused by alcohol, his ongoing struggle with alcohol and drugs throughout his career was part of his life story. Phyllis Hyman was a name synonymous with excellence in jazz and R&B. With her emotionally rich voice and powerful performances, she became famous for songs like You Know How to Love Me, Living All Alone, and Old Friend. Born in 1949 in Philadelphia, Hyman possessed a remarkable voice and a captivating performance style making her a standout star in the 1970s and 1980s. Despite her shining career, Phyllis struggled with personal demons, including depression, an issue that was not often discussed in the entertainment industry. In addition to depression, Phyllis also turned to alcohol as a way to cope with her emotional pain, but this only made her life more difficult. Despite this, her talent was always recognized, and she remained beloved by her fans. However, the weight of the battles she faced became overwhelming. On June 30th, 1995, Phyllis Hyman ended her life at the age of 45, leaving behind a remarkable musical legacy and a tragic story filled with strength and heartbreak. Nina Simone truly stands as one of the most powerful voices in music history, often referred to as the Queen of Soul. She was a singer and pianist with songwriting talent, effortlessly blending jazz, blues, classical, and gospel into a distinctive style that left a lasting impression on listeners. Songs like Feeling Good, I Put a Spell on You, and Mississippi Goddam are powerful works, both beautiful and filled with raw emotion. However, despite her undeniable talent, Nina's life was also filled with difficulties. Throughout her career, she faced racial discrimination, which left her feeling mentally unstable. As a passionate activist, through her music, she fought for civil rights, but the stress and trauma from her professional and personal life began to take a toll on her mental health. She struggled with alcohol addiction, using it as a way to cope with her inner battles. As she grew older, Nina's mental health issues became more severe and increasingly apparent. She was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and experienced depression and anxiety. Alcohol was a temporary method for her to relieve the pain, but it also contributed to her declining health in many ways. Nina Simone's talent far surpassed the demons in her life, but her later years were still filled with turmoil, leading to her death in 2003 at the age of 70. While alcohol was not the direct cause of her death, it certainly played a role in the struggles she faced in her final years. Bobby Womack was one of the most influential figures in soul and R&B music, with a smooth voice combined with exceptional songwriting talent that led him to timeless hits like Across 110th Street, If You Think You're Lonely Now, and Woman's Gotta Have It. Born in 1944 in Cleveland, Ohio, Bobby started his career early and quickly rose from being a member of the Valentinos to a successful solo artist. He possessed emotionally charged ballads and remarkable vocal delivery, securing his place as a music legend. However, behind all this success, Bobby Womack battled addiction and alcohol. Throughout his life, he struggled with being an addict and an alcoholic. Despite a life under the spotlight with admiration and fame from his music, the emotional demons he faced ravaged his health and relationships. Alcohol was one of the ways he used to cope with the pressures of fame and personal challenges, such as the loss of loved ones and complicated relationships. As his addiction worsened, it began to affect his career and health. Although Bobby tried to overcome his addiction, the battle remained a constant struggle. His health deteriorated, and he passed away in 2014 at the age of 70. While his death was not officially attributed to alcohol, his addiction certainly played a role in the physical toll he endured over the years. Jean-Michel Basquiat was an artist who broke the mold and forever changed the art world. Born in Brooklyn, New York in 1960, Basquiat started his career as a graffiti artist and later became one of the most prominent black artists of the 1980s. His paintings, often raw and political, reflected the struggles of black people, racial relations, and social issues. His style combined abstract imagery with language, creating a visual language that resonated deeply with viewers. His works continue to be celebrated today, with many pieces selling for millions of dollars at auctions. However, fame and success couldn't shield Basquiat from his tumultuous life. He struggled with many personal issues, including addiction. Alcohol was one of the substances he abused, along with other drugs. Like many artists, Basquiat's creativity was intertwined with pain, and he turned to alcohol and drugs as a temporary escape from the mounting pressures of rising fame and his inner conflicts. Despite his unparalleled talent, his addiction severely impacted his health. His lavish lifestyle and mental health struggles ravaged him so quickly that he died from a heroin overdose on August 12, 1988, at the age of 27. Although alcohol and drugs had been a part of his life for years, Basquiat's death still came as a shock to the art world. Paul Robeson Jr. is the son of the legendary Paul Robeson, one of the most influential figures in American history. His father was an actor, singer, and civil rights activist, known for his powerful performances in films like Showboat and his role in the fight for racial equality. Paul Robeson Sr. was an icon who stood up for justice, using his voice and platform to challenge racial discrimination in the U.S. and around the world. However, Paul Robeson Jr. faced many challenges living in the enormous shadow of his father. Although not as famous as his father, Paul Jr. still made a name for himself. He worked as a writer and civil rights advocate, but his life was marked by personal struggles, including alcohol addiction. Growing up in the public eye and having to live up to the great legacy of his father caused deep emotional scars. The pressure and challenges of living up to his father's greatness became overwhelming, and alcohol became a way for him to cope. Despite his intelligence and impressive achievements, alcohol caused serious problems in Paul Jr.'s life, affecting his health and personal relationships. While his father fought for freedom and equality, Paul Robeson Jr. struggled with inner demons, including addiction, which ultimately contributed to his declining health. Paul Robeson Jr. passed away in 2014, but his story is often overshadowed by the greatness of his father's life. C.L. Franklin was one of the most famous Protestant preachers, widely known for his powerful voice and inspirational sermons. He was a leading figure in the Black church community and the father of the legendary singer Aretha Franklin, known as the $1 Million Voice. C.L. Franklin's influence went beyond his sermons, as he was honored by both the religious and secular communities. His passionate preaching made him a prominent part of the civil rights movement, using the pulpit to fight for racial justice. However, despite his many successes and influence throughout his life, C.L. Franklin also faced personal struggles, particularly with alcoholism. Alcohol became a way for him to cope with the pressures of being a public figure, as well as personal issues he encountered. His drinking problem severely affected his family, especially his daughter Aretha, who witnessed the decline of her father. His battle with alcoholism took a toll on his health, ultimately leading to his death in 1984. After marrying PepsiCo's executive, Joan Crawford was appointed as the official ambassador for the company, using her fame to further its business interests. And you might be surprised to learn about the perks that came with being the ambassador of one of the largest soft drink companies at the time. Naturally, Crawford didn't pass up this opportunity. As a Pepsi ambassador, she traveled globally, and during these trips, the actress had very specific drink requests at each stop, including 2 bottles of Schaff, a bottle of Old Forester bourbon, a bottle of Scotch whiskey, a bottle of Beefeater gin, 2 bottles of champagne, and of course, a case of Pepsi. But as everyone knew, she rarely drank Pepsi herself, preferring alcohol instead. Elizabeth Taylor, famous for her beauty and talent during Hollywood's golden age, faced personal battles with alcohol and drug addiction despite her success. In 1983, she made headlines by becoming the first celebrity to voluntarily seek treatment at the Betty Ford Center. Betty Ford, wife of then-President Gerald Ford, founded this rehabilitation facility to help those struggling with addiction. Taylor's brave decision not only marked a turning point in her own life, but also had a profound impact on many others quietly battling similar issues. She helped break the stigma surrounding addiction and shed light on the path to recovery by publicly acknowledging her struggles and seeking treatment. After overcoming her addiction, Taylor found a new purpose in life, advocating for HIV/AIDS awareness and prevention research. She used her fame to raise awareness and fundraise for research and treatment initiatives. Elizabeth Taylor's journey from addiction to philanthropy was a powerful transformation, from darkness to light, that encouraged millions of Americans to seek help and brought hope to those in need. Redd Foxx, the famous comedian, was one of the biggest names in the entertainment world, particularly known for his role in the television show Sanford and Son. His sharp wit and signature lines made him a comedy icon. Foxx delivered bold, no-holds-barred humor that resonated with a wide audience. In the 1970s and 1980s, people adored his comedic style, and his career reached great heights in the entertainment industry. However, behind the laughter, Redd Foxx had a personal life filled with struggles, including alcohol addiction. His drinking problem affected his health and contributed to his decline in later years. Foxx was known for his partying lifestyle, with alcohol often being his constant companion. This lifestyle ultimately took a toll on his health, leading to his death in 1991. The issues his body endured from alcohol addiction played a significant role in his early death. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe to support our channel.